Welcome back. The sixth sense is your superpower. Your sixth sense is your superpower. And now it's time to get a little bit fluent with it. You've called it in, tried it on, it's starting to work for you. Now we want to amp it up and really let it become the major conversation of your life, the major influence, the influence of your spirit to override everything to the point that is what you're listening to, and that you actually flip the script and you tune everything else out that was distracting, that it no longer is even a choice. You begin to be dialed in, and that goes back to choosing as the fourth decision. So let me just reiterate the 4 decisions. First, you're open. That's like turning the radio on. You're turning your heart on. You're turning your consciousness on. You're turning your receptivity on. To your intuition, the second choice. I'm going to expect it. I expect good things. I expect my inner guidance to work. I expect the universe to work with me. I expect to make vibrational connections that are matches that pull in and broadcast out and receive everything that allows me to live at the highest vibrational creative frequency. And when I feel it, I trust it. I don't roll it around my brain. I don't shop it around with my friends. What do you think? What do you think? I'm feeling this. I'm having problems. Unless it is someone who is in your community of believing eyes. And in that case, you go back and you share, I need some support. I'm having this vibration and I need to have you assist me because it's a big shift. And I need an energy boost. I need mirroring. Now, there are times when your ego will interrupt and try to sneak in there and try to fake you out and try to give you guidance that really is really just a disguised way to sabotage you. So I want to remind you, check the vibe. Do you feel open, spontaneous? Do you feel confident? Is your mind quiet? Or are you contracting? Are you shrinking? Are you losing energy? Are you thinking too much? And look in the mirror. Is the light gone? No smile? Little tight butt? You can tell. There's always the signatures that your spirit is present. You radiate. Your eyes light up. You smile naturally. And you move. Because spirit is fire. The essence of your life force is energetic. It's dynamic. And it's always moving you forward. It's moving you to the right connections. It's moving you into place. It's not dense. It's not stagnant. And then we come to the place where I am choosing to have that be my main conversation. I choose to be the channel that I listen to. So open, I turn the radio on. Expect, I dial in. Trust, I hear the music. And act on your intuition. That's the 4th step. Choose to act. I move with the music. And better yet, the music moves me. I don't think about anything anymore. If I have a vibe, I do it. If I feel something that feels true, I don't challenge it. Can you imagine? I don't challenge it. I just go for it. And when you shift and start making those connections, life becomes really fun and funny. It's fun and funny because there's a lot of humor in the quantum field. Life wants to lift you up. Life wants to make you laugh. It wants to surprise you. The other day I was with my daughter in London. She has a brand new baby. And she, like me, is very particular about vibration, about energy, about who's going to be around. And especially with a brand new baby, we're very territorial about good vibes only. So she said, well, I need someone to come and watch the baby for a little while, a couple hours a week. And I don't know where to go or who to ask because I don't want to go to agencies. I don't want to invite in the traditional people because this doesn't feel right to me. So we were walking the baby around the park and we came down the street and she saw her neighbor's chef. She has a neighbor who has a cook who comes in and out. And she said, that's my neighbor's chef. And I said, oh, really? And we walked a few more steps, and she says, yeah, she's so lucky. She has a chef who comes in. I've talked to her before a couple of times, but very briefly. I said, that's interesting. How fun. I wish I had a chef. I don't cook. So as we walked by her, the minute I got right in front of her, I said, "Hi, how are you?" And she said, "Great." I said, "Excuse me, can I ask you something?" She said, "Sure, what?" I said, "Well, this is really kind of not your area, but I just feel inclined to ask you, do you know anybody who might be in the neighborhood that has good energy that could possibly work for my daughter a couple hours a week? It's not a real big job. It's just a little bit of a baby job for the baby." And she saw the baby. And she said, "Well, actually, as a matter of fact, I just talked to my friend 2 days ago who is someone who works as a nanny. She lives 2 blocks from here, but she was in Brazil for 6 months, and she just came back a couple weeks ago and doesn't have a job. Would you like to meet her?" I was like, "Yes, I would like to meet her." So Peter was like, "Yes," and now it worked. Direct connect, not even 5 minutes between my daughter saying, "I'm looking for someone," and someone showing up. Key is, I could have thought about it. I could have even said, "Let me think about it. I'll ask her tomorrow or in a few days or the next time I see her." But maybe then her available friend wouldn't be available. She was looking for a job. So this is what the magic of synchronicity is. It's the dance of the universe. It's the choreography of magic where you move into place and you move into place and you move into place and bam, everything starts to move together. When I was first beginning my public career, I was invited to speak, to actually introduce Deepak Chopra, who was giving a big talk in Chicago at the time. And this was when the Chicago Bulls, were a basketball team, were the champions of the world. So this particular talk, they were having this kind of small cocktail party for the VIPs. And I was just so excited that I was even invited because I had just published my first book. But part of the VIP group was the head of the Bulls. And I was so excited. I was more enamored of him than I was of Deepak Chopra, really, because I love basketball. So I found the courage to ask him. I said, Can you tell me how you choose champions? Because you have this whole team of champions, like everyone. So how did you pick the champions? How do you judge? I was just wondering how his intuition worked. And he said, "Well, it's a good question. I watch the players' hips." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, a champion in sports, when they're playing the ball, their hips move with the ball and their head comes after. So their energy is tracking the ball and not their head trying to follow the game." And I thought, that is exactly what I do. My hips are tracking the flow and my head, thank goodness, is not even in the game. It just shows up. So that is kind of what you need to do. Let your hips, let your solar plexus, the place in you that makes decisions, lead with your heart, not trip over your head. And that's why I keep encouraging you to dance, like for real. Dance, because it lets your hips lead and let your hips swing and do your own version of the hula so that when it's time and you get a vibe, it doesn't go from heart to head, because heart to head, you lose your moment. You lose your moment. If the player's looking like this and this, the ball's already gone. When you move from heart to hips, you don't lose your moment. You stay in the game. It's all about play. So I want you to allow yourself to drop in, have a direct connect. Let your creative compass, let your expanded genius, inner genie, bright life, divine self, spirit, whatever you want to call it, move you. Don't let your head hold it back. And that takes a lot of practice, just a lot of practice. So I think the most important thing to do is tell everybody, It's sort of when you name it, you claim it. Tell everybody, I am such an intuitive person. I just run with whatever I feel. Even if you're not quite there yet, your own words will start informing your inner barking dog that this is the new way we do things. I just go with it. I'm just flying with it. I don't stop and think about it. I remember going one time. I was invited to apply to speak to a group of like 5,000 or 6,000 members of the American Chiropractic Association at their national convention in Las Vegas. This is a big deal. People apply for that from all walks of life to be the keynote speaker. Most of the people applying are very accomplished people, tons of best-selling books, a big reputation. And my girlfriend, who is one of my believing eyes and a chiropractor, said to me, Sonia, you should apply. And I said, okay, I'll do it because I'm not afraid to hear no. I don't fear that disappointment. So she then says, well, you have to make a video and you have to make a PowerPoint to present your case and convince him, and you have plenty of time and I'll help you, and we'll give him, when he sees the energy you have, he'll go for it, but you have to have this PowerPoint. Well, I don't know how to do a PowerPoint to this day, let alone then. I don't think in PowerPoint. It's like not my steez, as my girls would say. It's not my style. But she was really adamant. So I would tell her, she'd say, how's it coming? I'd say, it's coming. How are you getting ready? I'm getting ready. Okay, I'm really excited. So she meets me the day we're supposed to go and talk to this guy. When I showed up, I didn't have my computer, and she was really distraught. Where's your computer? How are you going to do your PowerPoint? Do you have a little drive or something? I said, no, I didn't bring my computer. She said, what do you mean you didn't bring your computer? I said, I only brought my book. Trust your vibes. She said, what do you mean you brought your book? He probably gets 5,000 books a year. You need to give him your PowerPoint. It took me forever to even get you the interview. I said, I'm sorry. That's all I was told, all I failed to bring. She was very disappointed in me and very annoyed and very invested in me getting a chance and being considered, but I didn't do it her way. And so her vibes were off. And I said, will you do me a favor? Don't go with me. Sit in the lobby. And I don't want to field your energy because it throws me off my game. And again, that really irritated her, but she knew me well enough to say, okay, I tried. I said, you did. So I go into my meeting. I shake the guy's hand. He said, so what do you got for me? And I gave him my book. He didn't even say, what is your name? He just said, what do you got for me? So I give him my book, and he takes my book and he puts it on his forehead and closes his eyes. Then he takes it off and he said, you're hired. My whole interview was like less than 60 seconds long. And he said, tell them the details. I'll see you in Las Vegas. I got the job. But it really meant jumping over a lot of gates of the way we do things. And that's where you have to learn to build up those muscles. And it's with sense of humor. Defensiveness will suck you down. You have to have a sense of humor, and you have to dance in the fire of a little bit of other people's frustration at times, other people's fear, and just say, trust me. I trust me, so you trust me. And if I'm disappointed and I disappoint you, forgive me. I say that a lot. Forgive me if I blow it, but I'm going to try it this way. Now, I told you this is Wonderland. I told you that we're flipping the script. I told you this is not the ordinary way. It's the extraordinary way. It's really fun. Might sound outrageous, but if you talk to people who are at the top of their game, I don't care if it's art, it's science, it's medicine. I don't care. That's how they do it. That's how they do it. They are in the moment and make a choice. I have a beautiful client that I mentor she's a breast cancer doctor. Just fabulous, devoted healer. And she was sharing with me just recently a story where a woman she had a recurrence of a very, very vicious cancer. So in her operating room, when she's taking out the tumor, she did something she never does. She was moved to put her hands on the tumor and dig underneath it and literally pull it off the muscle. And Her operating helpers were like, what are you doing? And she said, I'm following my instincts. This thing's burrowed in, and I'm going for it. So she said she maneuvered it out with her hands. But that was where she could see she got the edges. She said, I know that woman's going to be okay now. But in the moment, she had all this conditioning, all this training, all this influence, and all these people who had another idea in mind. But she is used to trusting her vibes, and in her case, thank God, because she's saving lives. So this is not for the faint of heart. This is for those who really want to live to the edges and beyond, and not color in the lines, but erase the lines. All the tools I brought to you up until now will give you evidence that this works. I'm not saying jump into the void. I'm actually saying jump back in to yourself. Jump in, connect, and you will have evidence. But for fun, what I recommend is every time that you get a gut feeling, an aha, a hunch, an instinct, an inclination, an impulse, an urge, guidance, say it out loud. Say it out loud. It doesn't work. It isn't validated, and it won't move you to action if you ignore it. Now, if you don't speak it, if you don't express it, it won't move you to action. The minute you say it out loud, it takes on an energy of its own. The minute you say, I have a vibe, I have a feeling, I have a guidance, you can't erase that. You know what's exciting about that? Even if you don't follow it, it's still there. And you will know and have evidence later that I should have done that. I was warned. I was alerted. I did have the opportunity. I could have done that. It's up to you. I remember this one time I was there's a city not far from Chicago, St. Louis. And I was taking a flight from St. Louis back to Chicago when my daughters were very young. They were like 2 and 3 years old. And my husband and I at the time went to a wedding. And we were flying back on standby. And we were waiting for the last flight of the day, and it was very overfilled. And the agent said, I don't think you're going to get home. But my vibe said, you're going to get home. So the agent boards the flight. It's the last flight home. My babysitter's only booked till midnight. It's 8 p.m. It's an hour flight. He puts everybody on the plane. He looks at me and my husband and says, I'm sorry, there's no seats. Everybody go home. Go home. So my husband gets up and starts walking away, and my body won't move. And I'm sitting there. And he looks at me and says, come on, we blew it. Call the babysitter. And I said, just wait. Just for a minute. Just wait. And he was annoyed and said, okay, whatever. So he started to walk back to me, and we sat for 10 minutes. We saw the plane pull away from the gate, pull away from the jetway. And he said, well, what are you waiting for? Are we going to fly with our wings? I mean, it was one of those tense, fun moments in my dance in the fire life. Well, then the agent comes running down the corridor, down the terminal, opens the jetway, runs, the plane comes back. 3 people come running off, a man, a woman, and about a 10-year-old child, and the agent says, we boarded 3 people and there were only 2 seats. We had one, the child had no seat, and they didn't want to break up, so I guess you're on. Yes, it's the game. But I had to sit with it for a minute and deal with all the judgment. But when you tune it out, it becomes fun. When you tune it out. So flip the script and say, this is fun. I wonder what'll happen. Knowing full well, maybe nothing. But if nothing happens, you're right where you started, right? You're already kind of told it's not going to happen. So what do you have to lose? It's all about the body. It's all about listening with your whole being. It's all about the meditation every day for a few minutes. It's keeping the space and the field clear so you can feel like the princess and the pea, the impulse that guides you, but tuning in and turning the volume up on that information and tuning down and pushing out the other information. One of the ways that you can do this is automatic writing and inspirational writing. This is really fun. Just write a question down to present to your inner genius, your inner guiding light. Again, knowing full well the question has to be a really authentic question. And then, as if it's your inner guiding light, your bright light, your spirit answering, answer. Just write the answer, but you have to do it fast. You can't sit and think and contemplate. You can even close your eyes as you're answering and see what starts rolling. See what starts tumbling out. You may do draws and doodles and tic-tac-toes, but you may not even write anything that's coherent, but it'll drop into your awareness as you're writing the answer. So I do this all the time. I've written 27 books, and I've never once had any sort of a prospectus or a book lay it. I don't even know the language where you write out the book and you say, this is what I'm going to write. I couldn't do that. I just sit down and write 27 times. Just write. Because the spirit in you is organized. If you, say, are a really gifted chef, you probably go in the kitchen and you just cook. You're not in your head going A, B, C. If you're an artist, you just paint. If you're a musician, and I have many musician clients, you just sing, you just write, you just jam. It works. So it's like, what's your jam? Do that a lot. And you can write as a way to amplify your jam. It's fun. It's important to give it space. It always works. Inspirational writing can really turn into what's called automatic writing. That's how I wrote all of my books. Never knew what I was going to write. I never planned it out. I never had book proposals. See, now my barking dog, Fifi, helps. I never had a book proposal. I never could write a book proposal. I don't know how that works. My brain doesn't go there anymore. I don't live in that brain. Fifi figures it out, and she helps me find the people who can help me. This creative brain is not mine alone. Anybody who has had any great creative breakthroughs will say they did the same thing. They did the same thing. I'm not an original. I just know that this, which I'm sharing with you, is the way. Play is the way, flip the script, make room, and then choose to act on your vibes. Dance the dance. Get into your jam. Have fun with it. Your lesson is to try automatic writing today. Try some inspirational writing. Give it about 5 minutes at the most. Write a question, close your eyes, and as if your divine self, your spirit, your higher consciousness, your super consciousness is answering. So you are having a direct conversation, a direct connect with the part of you that's connected to everything at the highest level. And it gets the reason the writing works is because it involves the kinesthetics. It trains the muscles in your body. It trains your brain. It trains everything to reorient and go to where the real answers are, where the true answers are, where the true inspiration is. And it's fun. It's really fun. And the best part is you have evidence if you write it down. So it may not make sense today, but it'll make sense tomorrow or eventually. And that's how it works. Again, meditate morning and night, but see it as a way to renew yourself, not a task, not a job, not a duty, like a drink at the well. And also, check in with the tribe. Tell them, share with them your automatic or inspirational writing experience. What happened? What evidence do you have? It's really fun to share with your believing eyes. Okay, that's it for today, and I'll see you tomorrow.